Um, so let's get started. Today we're gonna see how you can add joist hangers in MWF floor panel. Alongside, we're also gonna see one more feature, which is the joist lapping at the near of the end of our session. So let's just get started. For those who are new to MWF, um, I'm pretty sure you guys know we do 3 different modules in our product. As you can see, we are like an extension in the Revit. We have wall module, we have floor module, we have truss module. Okay, so today I'll be working in the floor module. As you can see here, it's distinguished as a green color. And let's just get started. So here I have a floor panel. I have hidden the floor. So let me just go back and start with the brand new floor here. So as you can see, it's just a generic 10-inch floor with wood finish. So let's just go ahead and frame this first thing first. I'll just close this 3D view and let's just work on this floor. So in order to frame the floor, the process is pretty simple. You just need to select your floor. You need to navigate to the floor module and you need to click on create option. You would find it in the floor model tab. Once you click on create, here you would find your templates. So out of the box, if you are using the same product as me, which is MWF Pro Suite, you would get the light gauge and wood 2 different templates. Today I'm just going to work with the wood, so I'm just gonna select wood and I will just select create. And let me just turn on the 3D view. So this is basically how it looks like. Again, you might notice that this looks different than what we have in our wall panel because instead of framing, when I hit create, it actually places a node, which is what we define as a boundary node, and a model line. So as you can see, boundary node basically decides the boundary of the floor panel. And as you can see, there is no framing. There's no framing actually present in the panel as of now. For that to happen, we need to actually select the panel, and we just need to regenerate. This is like an extra step if you want to make any modification for your model lines. And this is what it should look like, just a little bit different, but the procedure is the same as our walls. These might look like a generic model line from Revit, but these are not. They also have their own properties. So basically, this is how you can frame a floor, technically. Okay. Um, okay. So let's just work in the 3D view for now. So in order to place the joist hanger, you can place it through panel properties here. In order to access the properties, you also need to select a member of panel. Doesn't matter which member, just make sure you select any member on the panel. Go back to your MWF floor module and just click on properties. Once you open the properties, you need to navigate to member properties and you would find an option called wood connectors, which is right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click on wood connectors. And this dialog box should pop up. So the first option we're greeted with is ignore global settings, which basically you need to override your global settings in order to place any sort of connectors. So we're just going to go ahead and turn that on. First 2 options I would see here is basically my supporting and supported members. I did not make any changes to the default wood template that I used to frame this panel. So my member will be 2x10s since I have a 10-inch floor here. But if you're using any other members, you can always choose the drop down and you can showcase, or you can choose different members. Okay. You can also modify the skew range as it is here. You can increase or decrease the number of skew range and available connectors. So you would find that this is a drop down. These are the Simpson families for connectors out of the box in MWF. So you need to choose whatever is best for your situation or your panel. So I'm just going to go with the LU28 for this demo. We'll come back in a second for the place and type settings. Okay. So once you're pretty happy with your settings, all you need to do is just add the definition. or add the setting. So basically this will save your settings. Again, you can see here that your supporting member is the 2x10 and your supported member is also 2x10. The applies, header type, joist type, skew range if you decide to go with, and the connector family. Okay, so once you're happy with your setting, just add the definition and click OK, and OK again. Just give it a minute and it should be okay. So as you can see, uh, the connector is placed, but again, if you can see again, it's just a placeholder. It's not the actual family, but it holds all the properties of the actual family. So when you work on a Revit schedule or when you're working with the MWF schedule, and when you have a parameter which includes the joist hanger, this family will show up and all the properties alongside with it, but just for the modeling purpose, it's just a placeholder. Okay. So let me just go back and select one more floor as I have here. Okay. So again, it's the same floor, and let's talk a little bit about the apply settings that we didn't explore. Okay. So for that, I will make a couple of changes to my floor. So again, I will just go ahead and create the floor panel. First thing first, again, put. And if you need to skip the step of regenerating the panel after actually you select the template, you can just choose this option. It says frame it now. So I'm just gonna keep it checked, and let's just create this panel real quick. And let's just box this up. And I will also try to hide the floor so we could just work with the framing. Excellent. So as you can see, for the joist configuration, pretty much it's a single configuration for my joist. Let's make it double. In order to do that, basically, again, just select any member of the panel, go to the panel properties, navigate to member properties, and here under joist, you can just change the configuration alongside with your joist spacing, your first joist offset, and the span angle as well. Okay, so instead of single, I will just make it double. So I'll just double click on it, and if you wish to change families, you can actually do it from here. So member A, B, C, D actually stands for how many members you have in the configuration. If it's a single, all the B, C, and member D will be grayed out. And if it's a double, only member A and B will be visible, and so on. So you guys get the idea. And for both my members, I am happy with the current family and the family type. So I will just click OK and OK again. So as you can see, now I have double configuration for my choice. So let's just go back to the wood connectors one more time through properties, member properties, wood connectors. And again, we will ignore the global settings. And here, basically, I just want to change my supported member to the configuration 2. Okay, so if you have, again, if your side tracks are they have different condition, you can also change the family and the number of plies. Okay, and the available connector families will change accordingly. So for example, if you have 3 plies, it's a triple configuration. As you can see, the families do change, they do vary. So that's also to keep in mind, but I will go back to 1 ply for my supporting member and 2 plies for my supported member. Okay, type here would be read-only data. This wouldn't actually model anything, but it would be included in your properties. So if you want to change it, you can actually change the type from here. And that's pretty much it. Again, you need to add the definition, and you can always see your settings saved here. Okay, and once you're pretty happy with your settings, just click OK and OK again. As you can see now, the placeholder actually holds double configuration. So that's how you basically add the connectors to the floor panel. Okay, and let me just quickly show you one more feature. we will do the exact same thing for this floor as well. So let's say if you have 2 panels, I'm just gonna again hide the. Excellent. So let's say if you have 2 panels, okay. Right now, currently I have 1 panel. I'll also show you guys how to split the panel, how to split 1 floor panel into 2, okay. And just a little bit the logic behind it on how MWF reads 2 panels, okay. But the next feature we're gonna talk about is joist slapping, and if I just hover over this feature, it basically reads that this tool creates an end condition which removes, subtracts, and extends joist by a given distance. So we're just basically lapping the different joists who are next to each other because 2 split panels are there. Okay, so just to make it easier, I'll just demonstrate it to you. Now, it's very important that if you cannot make changes to your actual floor face, you cannot edit it and expect the framing to follow. For floor panels, it actually depends on the boundary nodes. So you can actually move the boundary nodes to the desired location if you wish to make any changes. Just regenerate the panel and the framing will follow, okay? So, and the same applies for splitting the panel into 2. You actually need to place nodes. So let's say if I wish to split the panel vertically, I would just place 2 knots here. I would just split it panel vertically. Okay, I'll show you guys real quick on how to do it. So here under panel drop down menu, I would find a feature which is called place node. Okay, so I will just go ahead and select the feature. Oh, I did not select the panel. So make sure you select the panel and click on place node. Okay, so my my arrow actually turns into this pink cross, which actually determines where my nodes will rest. So I will just put it somewhere here and somewhere at the bottom here. Okay, and make sure your knots are aligned in order to split the panel. There's another way you can also create a marker line if you wish to split the panel in any unorthodox manner. But for now, we're just gonna align both the knots. No, thank you. Perfect. And right underneath place node, you would find another option, which is split panel. So I'm just gonna click on it. And once you see that you might be lost sometimes after selecting a feature, you don't know what to do, you can always actually come to the bottom left of the screen and it would ask you, basically it would show the instruction on what steps you need to do next, okay? So here it's just asking me to pick the first boundary node, okay? So I'll just follow the instruction. I'll select my first boundary node. And again, it's asking me the second boundary node. So I will go ahead and do it. And it just basically places the marker line, okay? And all I need to do now is regen and my panel will be, oh, it's already split. Apologies for that, guys. But so basically this is how you split the panel. Okay, you do not need to regenerate. It regenerated by itself. Now, okay, let's quickly see how the joist slapping works, okay? So basically I'm just gonna click on this again. And if you're confused, always refer to your bottom left of your screen. It says select anchor panel. So I would just select the first panel and it's asking me to select the secondary panel. So I would also go ahead and do it. And this dialog box would pop up once you finish the uh, selecting 2 panels, okay? So first option we see is basically lap distance, okay? So I will show you guys what it means. For now, I'm just gonna put it 6 inches. And you also have the orientation of your joist slapping if you wish to have it back to back or opposite direction. It makes more sense when you're working on the light gauge steel, but I will just actually click on the back to back feature and click OK. And this is basically what it looks like when 2 joists are lapping, okay, between 2 panels. Let me just show you guys a little bit better. And this is a back-to-back configuration looks like. Okay. And if I go to my floor plan view, I can also show you guys what the distance was all about. So I can, and the 6-inch that we asked them, WF, to put the distance is perfectly there. And this is basically how you use the joist lapping tool. Okay. That's pretty much it for today. Rishabh, back to you.
Perfect, Pujan. Thank you for the demonstration. And so now we'll open the floor for any of your questions or your comments. And once again, you can either type them via the questions tab of the GoToWebinar dashboard, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute you in case you would like to speak. So I do have a raised hand, so I'm just going to send you an unmute request. And you can feel free to ask your question.
I can see one question. Sorry, if you want me to answer it. It's from Syed. Sorry if I mispronounce it. Please try not to. Oh, okay. Move your mouse so fast when you want to highlight particular items. Okay, I will be more careful with that. Sorry. And if you feel like you need some revision, you can always find this recording on YouTube. Rishabh, can you tell them what time they can find the recording?
Oh yeah, if you can just take the question from Oliver, he's ready to speak the question, and then I can talk about that.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Tushin.
Hi.
Yeah, I've got a question. When you do the ply, so if you have, let's say, ply 2 or ply 3, and when you do the back-to-back, as you have it right there, is there an option to get a back-to-back separation distance, for example, of 1/16 of an inch? Because in most cases, if you have like ply 2 or ply 3 and you have the bracket that goes in the middle, you probably need some space to get a bracket in between. Or when you're doing it with a light steel and it's finalized, we need to have 1 millimeter between this item or 2 millimeters, because otherwise they're not going to be space enough for them to go in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just a little to be fair. But if I understand your question correctly, you're just asking if your ply configuration is triple, right?
Yeah.
And how you can change the lapping distance. Was that your question? If I was
no. So
okay.
when you have a back-to-back, or when you have two items one beside the other,
right,
the software is going to put them in touch. So what the face of both items is going to be touching each other. Is there a way to give an extra space of 1/16 of an inch between those two items automatically from the properties?
Okay, now I understand. Okay, let's just see. So you're asking basically if you have a triple configuration, is there a way to place any distance between those three members, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, actually you can. Let's see here. So you said let's do like an inch. So that would be the offset 1/16 of an inch. Okay, perfect. So here, if I go to the joist setting under properties, I would see the configuration, I would see the spacing, which basically refers to the member spacing and not actually the configuration spacing. The span angle wouldn't work, okay? Repeat spacing and offset extension would be the extension, and angle also wouldn't help. So I would say no, we do not have any ways you can do that from the properties. But if there are any other ways that I might not know, maybe from other menus, I will get back to you on that one. So apologies if I do not know, but there's no way you can actually do it from the member properties for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I hope that fully answered your question. And wait for some more questions to come in. But yes, as Pujan was speaking, I just want to remind you that the recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channels and on our LinkedIn and other social media channels such as Facebook and Twitter. So you're welcome to view them by tomorrow, 5 p.m. EST. Once again, that is 5 p.m. EST. We will have the recordings ready and also mailed to you. If there are any other questions, we'll just keep this open for a few more seconds before we wrap this up. Right, that looks like a wrap for today. However, if you had any follow-up questions at a later date about this presentation, then please feel free to reach out to us at info@strucsoftsolutions.com, and we will be more than happy to assist you. And having said that, I'd like to thank you once again for joining us today, and we both hope you have a great day ahead.